Alright everyone, welcome to another flight review. Today I'm flying with Bonza from here in Melbourne to Alice Springs and back, both of which are inaugural services, so let's just get started. Right, so currently we're on our way to Terminal 4 car park because, well, Bonza flies out of Terminal 4, and as you can see, this ramp thing is actually newly built. I believe it was opened sometime earlier this year, but it's pointless if you ask me because we're the only car on it. So here is Terminal 4 car park. We paid a total of 49 Australian dollars for 10-hour parking, which is a bit pricey, but I suppose it saves hassle from waiting for a bus that may be late and getting a series of red lights with a shuttle to Terminal 4. Not sure if you can see, but if you can, you may notice a couple of Bonza planes tucked behind a wall. Anyway, that Qatar Airways 777 is arriving in from Doha. You can probably see it just on the runway over there. So this is what the inside of Terminal 4 car park looks like. It's just a car park. It's got cars, but no park. If you hate elevators, well, you're in luck because the only way to get down from any level to the ground floor is via elevator. Or you can just jump off, but I don't recommend that. Today, Melbourne is hot. 32 degrees, I believe, but what's more important is Terminal 4, right here in front of us. Jetstar, Rex and Bonza all fly out of this terminal. Check-in with Bonza is simple. You just punch in some stuff and eventually a boarding pass should get spewed out of the kiosk. FYI, check-in with Bonza opens 90 minutes before departure and closes 40 minutes prior. You can check in online about a week before, I think. Anyway, over there is the Rex check-in area, which was moderately busy, and here is the Jetstar one. 13 days until Christmas, and Melbourne Airport seems prepped everywhere, really. Anyway, now on our way up to security, and since there were very few flights leaving Terminal 4 at this hour, security was quiet and quick. And luckily there weren't any workers who were shouting, which made the process a lot calmer. Oh well, now we're outside at Terminal 4. You can see security just to the left over there, and in the far distance you may make out a Macca's. There are also a large number of seating spaces for sitting and staring off into the distance like this guy on the bottom right. Anyway, if you're hungry, this terminal does not disappoint, and I'm not going to lie, at some parts of the terminal, I felt like I was in a dedicated food court, rather than an airport terminal. And oh, Terminal 4 also has a Lego store. Can you spot Tim Jordan? I can. That purple one is a ride for today. I'll go into further detail about that later on. How is that guy walking so fast? Anyway, now heading to gate 17, which is where we'll be boarding through today. If you're flying with Bonza, expect to board through gates 11 to 20. Typically with Bonza, since they're a budget carrier and try to save as much money as possible, they'll pretty much always use the gates that you have to cross a tarmac with. So to be more specific, expect to board through gates 14 to 20 when flying Bonza. Speaking of Bonza, here is our ride to Alice Springs, VH-UJT, nicknamed Shazza. It's a 4-year-old Bonza 737-8 MAX, originally delivered to Lot Polish in 2019, but due to COVID, they were like, nah, fuck this, and Bonza picked it up in July of 2022. This afternoon, boarding commenced bang on time. Hi, how are you?
Thanks.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
your
much.
flight.
If you didn't spot Tim Jordan the first time, here's your second chance.
Welcome.
Thank you.
much. Welcome on board. Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, how you doing? Hello. How you doing?
Afternoon, sorry.
Welcome aboard Shazza. In total, there are 186 Recaro BL3710 slimline seats in a 3-3 configuration. For this flight, I'm seated at 13F.
Down, buddy.
Alright, seat features. So first off the bat, legroom. Well, I'm really short, so it doesn't really matter for me, but it's about 29 inches or something like that. We've got a tray table. It is nice and sturdy. You can move it backwards and forwards. You've got a literature pocket containing a safety information card and, if I can get to it, a vomit bag. Got a USB port, it's free of charge. You've got 2 coat hooks. At the bottom of the seat, you have a netted seat pocket, and you also got a universal power socket, which is also free of charge. Here's my view from 13F, and one thing to note, if you do select row 13, all seats in row 13 do not recline because of the exit row being behind it. However, on every single seat, there is a leather, comfy, adjustable headrest. That vibrant plane going on the runway is a Sichuan Airlines A350 in a special livery that I have no idea the name of. But anyway, just arrived in from Chengdu. Do you prefer Bonza or Jetstar? Or Air India?
Alice Springs with expected flying time of 2 hours and 45 minutes. My name is Bridget and it's my pleasure to be your cabin supervisor. All customers are now on board and shortly I'll be closing the forward door. Please place your larger bags in the overhead lockers and smaller bags under the seat in front of you. If you are seated in an exit row, all belongings will be put in the overhead lockers for takeoff and landing. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking and the use of electronic cigarettes are not permitted at any time. If you haven't already, make sure you download the Bonza app to order food and drinks directly to your seat. You'll also find a fun entertainment on the app. Our team of Bonza legends are here to make sure your flight is as awesome as possible. If you need any help, just ask. Thank you once again. Welcome aboard the inaugural flight to Alice Springs. Final door is now closed. Please switch to flight mode on all electronic devices, including mobile phones and smartwatches. Large electronic devices, including laptop computers, must now be switched off and stowed.
That Jetstar 787 is heading to Singapore with a 2-hour delay.
It is my pleasure to introduce the cabin crew legends flying you through to Alice Springs this evening. Your pilots are Captain Travis Klashenko and First Officer Gerald Chen. Your crew in the cabin, we have Eve up the front, Jess in the middle, and Tom down the back. And once again, my name is Bridget, now down. There are 2 doors at the front, 4 exits over the wings, and 2 doors at the back. Take a moment to locate your nearest down alternative exit, remembering it may be behind you. A good idea is to count the number of seats between you and the exit. Please remember, in an emergency, cabin baggage must not be removed. Any mouth coverings and place the oxygen mask over your nose and mouth like this and breathe normally, adjusting the mask if necessary. Fit your own mask first before assisting children or others. If the mask doesn't inflate, don't worry, oxygen will flow, so just breathe normally. A life jacket is located underneath your seat. When required, keep your seatbelt fastened at all times when seated. To get ready for takeoff, make sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is up. All electronic devices can be held or placed in your seat pocket. Large electronic equipment such as laptops must be securely strapped hot, straps between the seats. Gets caught during the seat. cabin crew be seated for takeoff. Once the seatbelt sign is turned off, you're welcome to use your large electronic devices and the charging ports. All transmitting devices, including smartwatches, are to remain in flight mode. We do recommend that while seated, keep your seatbelt securely fastened. So if you need any help, we accept card only. We do ask that you place your own card details into the app so we can get your food and drinks to you as promptly as possible. On this aircraft, we have 3 toilets, one at the front and 2 at the back of the aircraft. If the team or I can do anything to make your flight more bonza, please don't hesitate to ask. For now, please sit back, chill out, and enjoy your flight to Alice Springs.
Alrighty, we're now on our way to our cruising altitude of 38,000 feet. Some slight bumps as we pass through a cloud layer. Alright, first and foremost, the cabin crew have now begun their meal service. They're starting off with pre-purchased meals, followed up by any meals that have been ordered from the Fly Bonza app. I'd love to say that on every single Bonza flight that I've had, the cabin crew have always been spectacular, so huge thumbs up to them. Also, when the cabin crew are serving food, instead of using a trolley, they use just a tray, which I think is kind of cool, it's different. But it would suck during turbulence. My window seems to be quite attractive because all the dirt seems to just come to it. Alright, so the Flight Bonza app, how does it work? Well, as it says right there, you're going to turn on flight mode, turn Wi-Fi on and connect to the Bonza Wi-Fi and open the Bonza app to order and browse entertainment. Now, my dumbass called the flight attendant and I said that my Bonza app wasn't working considering I did all those steps. But the cabin manager points out that it's probably a good idea to scan the QR code on the back of the seat, and yeah, after losing a few brain cells and gaining a few, my Bonza app eventually worked. Anyway, what's on this app? Well, stuff. But what kind of stuff? Well, there's barely anything to watch, so I suppose you can read or listen to audiobooks. You can play games, but just not many of them. Do you like reading? If so, BONZA'S got that. I'll go through their menu with you right now. So one thing to note is that BONZA'S menu can vary depending on the time you fly with them. For example, they have a morning menu and an afternoon menu. Now, since we're flying during the afternoon, have a wild guess as to what menu we received on this flight. Pretty easy. One thing I do like about the menu is that it is very widely ranged. You've got a buttload of snacks to choose from, but they are expensive. Want a drink? Yep, BONZA'S got many. Want alcohol? Yep, BONZA'S got that too. Want budgie smugglers? Well, BONZA'S got that as well. Want a new shower head? Well, BONZA doesn't have that, but anyway. BONZA does have a tab for in-flight info. It's interactive, but every time I used it and wanted to find where we were, the plane wouldn't show up for like a minute, and when it did, it pulled a MH37. It just disappeared, and let's leave it at that. Anyway, that's our plane. However, the wingtips don't quite match up. Gonna settle down for a good book. Currently we're flying BONZA'S, so yeah. Wish that BONZA had purple on the boarding passes though, it'd look cool. Well, shenanigans over, and on this flight I chose to order some Amaze Balls crunchy natural cheese snacks. Now, they were crunchy, but where was the cheddar taste at? It was bland and was not worth $12. Now, you're probably going, shit, that's $12. Simple answer, it was part of a combo thing they had, so me and my father shared them whilst my dad had a beer all to himself because I'm unfortunately underage to be consuming any alcohol. Now here are some fun facts about the 737 MAX 8. Well, I'm not going to call them fun because they're not. Anyway, a few years ago, Boeing copped an estimated $20 billion fine when they had to ground the entire MAX fleet because of faults they had with it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when Airbus launched the A320neo family, Boeing was keen to get competition underway, so they rushed this type of aircraft. Now, if you remember correctly, there were two 737 MAX 8 crashes within 5 months of each other. And the reason for this was due to software errors. Boeing had lowered their engineering standards to literally lower costs and improve efficiency, sort of ignoring the safety factor. Pilots who fly the 737 MAX today were likely to have previously flown on a standard 737 before the MAX, so Boeing was like, yeah, same plane to fly. Pilots don't need any training because the MAX is the same as a standard 737. So Boeing had implemented a new system on the MAX called MCAS. In simple terms, it's pretty much there to enhance the pitch stability of the aircraft in flying conditions that may be abnormal. This system was non-existent on the standard 737s and was only put on the MAX. Now, initially, when pilots moved from the standard 737 to the 737 MAX, they had no idea about the system because Boeing thought they wouldn't need any training required. But that was until October of 2018 and March of 2019, where two 737 MAX aircraft entered repetitive and uncommanded nose-down inputs from a new flight control which the pilots had no idea of. Can you guess what that system is? Well, if you guessed MCAS, you'll be correct. Since the pilots had no idea what to do, both aircrafts entered a death dive and eventually crashed. And all in all, the MAX 8 aircraft was responsible for 346 lives in just 5 months. Now, this isn't to induce any fear of flying on the 737 MAX aircraft because Boeing has resolved the issue now. It's a representation of how something can go tragically wrong, but we can learn and improve from it. However, with the MAX, it's a sad story. Quite frankly, I love flying on the MAX. It's a quiet, comfortable, and overall a modern aircraft to be on, and I do hope that they have no issues in the future with this aircraft.
Through the cabin. Shortly the captain will switch on the fasten seatbelt sign in preparation for landing. Please make sure your seat brackets are high, your armrest down, your tray table is locked into position and your window light is. This is BONZA'S inaugural flight from Melbourne to Alice Springs, and we have some special celebrations to mark the occasion. Upon disembarking, you'll be welcomed to the Arunda country with a traditional smoking ceremony performed by the Arunda elders to officially welcome you to their sacred Arunda land. Smoking ceremonies are an ancient ritual performed going back in time. Special leaves are used for this ritual from a sacred tree, which are also used for medicines. The elders will show you how to breathe in, acknowledging the spiritual presence of their Arunda elders as you walk past. Once inside the terminal, you'll receive a special welcome gift to celebrate your arrival into Alice Springs and be greeted by the Tinkerbee traditional dances. Please also keep an eye out for another special guest bouncing around the airport today, a special little Joey visiting from the Alice Springs Kangaroo Sanctuary. For those guests attending today's official BONZA arrival function, a member of the Alice Springs airport team will meet you once you're at the terminal and escort you to the function. Thank you for being part of Alice Springs' inaugural flight today and hope you enjoy the festivities. Thank you.
So, Bonza. I think that they're a pretty good airline. I had a conversation with the CEO of Bonza, Tim Jordan, earlier in Melbourne, and he mentioned that from August to October, in that period alone, there were 5,000 flights in Australia that were cancelled, and Bonza was only responsible for 5. Now, I can see that Tim Jordan is passionate about his position because he mentioned that it's not only a business, it's also got a purpose behind it, which is really good to hear, especially from the CEO. Now, flying on Bonza is always a fun experience, whether it's an inaugural or not, unless your flight gets cancelled, but otherwise, in the air, they're going along very well, and I wish the best for them in the future. The seats are somewhat comfortable, the crew are lovely, and they're using modern planes, which makes for a quiet and smooth ride. Now, enjoy the landing into Alice Springs for the first time ever with Bonza.
Return to your seat and make sure your seatbelt is firmly fastened. Large electronic devices, including laptops, must now be switched off and put away. You may continue to use your small electronic devices until we arrive at the gate, but all devices must now be removed from the charging ports. Thank you. Be seated for landing. Bonza, welcome to Alice Springs, where the local time is 4:24 p.m. in the afternoon. A friendly reminder that the Northern Territory is an hour and a half behind Victoria if you do need to adjust your watches. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, pay our respects to elders. If your mobile phones are within reach, you're welcome to use these now. If you are leaving us via the tarmac, we ask that all electronic devices are not used until you've entered the terminal. Before leaving, please check your seat for all personal belongings and be really careful when opening the overhead lockers as items may move during the flight. When you leave the aircraft, please follow the direction of our ground crew. A reminder that smoking and the use of electronic cigarettes are not permitted on the tarmac or inside the terminal building. On behalf of the legends on board today, we'd like to thank you for flying with Bonza and look forward to seeing you on board again soon. If Alice Springs is home, welcome home. If you're visiting loved ones, enjoy special moments together. And if you're here for business, don't work too hard. Thank you and have a great rest of your night and enjoy the festivities inside the terminal. Thank you.
Captain crew, this aft doors and cross check.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you soon. I'll let you know if I find your mouse, alright? Yeah. Thank you.
It was actually cold. It was colder on the plane.
How are you doing today? Ta-da! And I'll have one here too. Thank you.
Have you got your bag?
Oh, did you wear the t-shirt on purpose?
Sure did. Yep.
Welcome to Alice Springs, Aloauh.
To everyone else. It's just a wonderful afternoon. I think there's big smiles on faces everywhere, and it's so lovely to hear Tim tell the story about just a wonderful time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Bonza.
He will grow up to be a tough guy. Yes, yeah, 90. And what are you guys doing? We rescue orphan kangaroos.
Alright, this is what Alice Springs Airport looks like during Christmas time. Not sure what this is, but it's like some floral and fauna and some cool sculptures or whatever. Since we've only got a 2-hour labour for our next flight back to Melbourne, we decided to just go outside the venture and just touch the red soil. No clue as to where we're going. One last time. Perfect.